Welcome to No Small Roles. This is the show where I speak with fellow actors about their careers and about some of their smaller roles in big movies and TV, and how these roles are in fact not at all small for the actors who play them. Now, today's guest is my friend Russ Gannon. He is one of the kindest natural talents that I know. He and I go out for a lot of the same roles. And if there's an opportunity I get that I'm unable to do, Russ is the very first one I recommend because he always knocks it out of the park. So, Russ, welcome to the show.
Thank you, my friend. It is my pleasure to be here with you.
It's about time we're doing this.
It has. It has been a long time coming.
It has. Yeah, we ran into each other this summer in Dublin, by chance, but we realized we were both there, so we hooked up. And we were like, oh, we got to do the show. And then I had a reason that we didn't do it so soon because I've been waiting to watch this movie, Ephus, which we're going to talk about. And I haven't, because I have this other show, The Ejectables.
Yep.
I have to watch 3 movies a week for that. So I just can't catch up on the films I want to see. And also, and I'm going to be in all honesty, and I think you know this about me, I am zero. I'm like a sports fan.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like minus 25% a sports fan. And so it's really hard for me to watch a sports movie, though I've seen your clips and you're fantastic, but we're going to talk about that.
Thank you.
Now, everyone knows you from Sins of a Preacher or of the Preacher, Frontline, Free Guy, Boston Strangler, Reasonable Men, The Little Toadstool and the Prince, American Fiction, A Man Goes on a Killing Spree. That sounds light and uplifting.
Sure.
Ephus, tons of indie features, tons of indie shorts. One, in fact, that we are both in called Solitary, which will be making the Film Fest circuit soon. But anyway, yes. Russ, welcome, everyone. This is Russ.
Thank you. Thank you. It is a pleasure to be here.
It is a pleasure to have you. Now, Russ, as if you've watched one of these before, you may know that I like to start with the hard-hitting questions first. And so, do you prefer grilled cheese with or without tomato?
With.
Yeah. There's no without ever, or just?
I mean, I'll eat it without, but I actually like it with tomato and a little pesto.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it with a little mustard.
Okay,
it's good.
That sounds interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
A thicker bread though, maybe like a sourdough. Would be
nice. No. Okay, I mean, I respect that you do that.
No.
Oh,
I mean, you can eat it, but I won't.
I won't. It's too fancy. Like, it distracts from the grilled cheese, and sourdough's gross. It tastes like socks. It's like putting your grilled cheese between socks. I mean, but I respect if you want to do that.
Thank you.
So, Russ, obviously, you are a very smart man. You studied radio production and being in radio, and you, in fact, did it and worked in radio and still do voice stuff from time to time. You married an amazing woman and have 2 incredible, beautiful children who are grown up and like working their own jobs and making money. You met your friend Ian in Dublin. So you're obviously very, very intelligent.
Thank you.
So why are you an actor?
Well, I will preface it by saying I had no interest in being an actor ever. Like I've watched your show and I see people who are, they're like, I knew from an early age, this is what I wanted to do. I had no interest in this. I first of all had a terrible fear of public speaking. So much so that in college I failed public speaking. So I got an F because I could not stand up in front of my classmates and even talk to them. And I said,
did you get the bright red face like I would?
I would get a pain in my spine that was so painful that it was like throbbing pain. And I'm like, I can't do this. I cannot do this. So
not physically do it.
Yeah. So I had no interest. I never wanted to be on stage. I didn't want to be in front of people. All I loved was music. I just wanted to be in radio. Although at an early age, I wanted to be an accountant, which is why I wound up at Bentley College studying accounting, which I also failed.
Well, good. I'm glad you did. No offense.
I failed miserably at accounting, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And I was driving home from college, and I heard an ad on the radio to be a volunteer to answer phones at a radio station in Boston and just take requests. And it was an epiphany. I'm like, that is exactly what I want to do. I want to be in radio. I want to work in radio. And so that's what happened.
Well, that brings me to a question. Was he, in fact, Romeo in Black Jeans?
Aha. He was indeed.
He was.
Michael Penn.
That's Michael Penn. This is an old
Yes.
reference for those who don't know it, but
That's
that is
right.
Russ with Michael Penn. Is he Sean Penn and is he Sean Penn's brother? That's what was my understanding.
I thought he was related somehow.
I thought he was one of the brothers,
At one point,
and Chris Penn.
Yeah.
But you have met from this work. You met Neil Finn from Crowded House, and the guy from Tears for Fears,
Roland. Yeah.
Roland. I always forget his name.
Yeah. There's Michael Stipe and my
From
lovely
R.E.M.
wife, Leslie. Yeah.
And Joan Jett.
So there's the radio station. I got my first job. Yeah, that was WBCN. That was on her birthday in 1983
Oh my
or
God.
so, or 84. Yeah. Look at those blonde highlights on me. Obviously,
It looks good. So that was the job where you were answering phones and putting on requests?
Yeah, I was just taking requests. People would just call the listener line. I'm like, hey, BCN, what do you want to hear? That sort of thing. And it was mostly a chance to talk to girls.
And to talk to Bono.
And to talk to Bono, yeah. Yeah, that was pretty amazing. I've seen you two 21 times, so that was,
Oh my
that was
God.
a thrill.
Stalker.
Yeah, they said, Russ, why don't you go down to the garage and escort Bono up to the stage? I'm like,
Were
yeah,
you
I
like,
can do
no, I'm busy. I'm eating.
Yeah, really. Well, if you insist, I'll do that. So, yeah. that
So this was your
incredible.
first job in entertainment, working at the radio station.
Yeah. And that's all I had a Boston accent at the time. It wasn't,
Did you?
I did. Yeah. It's like Boston Garden and weather and sports and
That
you
doesn't
know,
come through at all now.
Thank you. Well, that's training right there, my friend. So
Do you find it wanting to come through and you're controlling it, or it just doesn't naturally come through at all?
it comes through. It's funny because when I auditioned for a Boston accented guy, people are like, you don't have a Boston accent, so don't try to do it. I'm like, well, I did have, like, I can bring it back if you want. Angela, Boston Cassie, don't do a Boston accent, Russell.
That sounded like her talking.
You don't do a good one, And, there are occasional things, like there are words that I just cannot say, like drawer.
You
I
said
open
it.
the drawer. The
Can you
drawer.
say
I
the
open
thing
drawer.
how do you say the thing that thumps in your chest?
The hot?
Yeah. Okay. I had a guest on my horror show yesterday and he could not say that word. He was just like hot. I'm like, oh, hot? Like hot? Ooh. No,
Yeah, so my relatives were from Hyde Park and my dad was from Dorchester. So, I heard the Boston accent growing up but I had it, and my very first class I ever took, I have that cassette somewhere in the basement where I'm like, and the Celtics are playing at the Boston Garden tonight, and now let's look at weather. And I'm like, ugh, so cringy. So I was in radio, I was answering phones, and I was at BCN for a couple of years. And then my dad was like, look, if you want to be a DJ, why don't you study, go to a school, be a DJ, learn how to be on the radio. So that's how I wound up at Emerson. I was taking night classes, voice and articulation, and
that's required there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I went there. My wife went there. My parents went there.
Yeah. And I just, I still couldn't get over my fear of public speaking. And so I wanted to be on the air. I started full time, and then I auditioned for ERS and was terrible, and I couldn't get a show. And I'm like, man, I'm going to graduate without having any chance to be on the air. And then I saw an ad, a guy was doing an Irish show on Sundays called Folk Music of the British Isles and Ireland.
Oh.
And he was looking for somebody to take the show over after he graduated, and nobody wanted to do it. So I said, I'll do it. And so he goes, oh, that's amazing. I'll come in, we'll get you started. I said, well, I have a debilitating fear of public speaking. I don't want to be on the air and have that happen. He goes, that's all right. We'll do the concert listings. We'll get you just on the air a few times the shift, and just to get you over that. And so gradually, as I was doing that, I was starting to lose that fear. And then
Mhm.
he goes, this Sunday, you're taking over for me. And I'm
You
like,
still must have been nervous.
I was nervous, but then I was feeling it. I was feeling it. And then every week I was doing this every Sunday. And then I started to feel more comfortable. And at the time I was taking a comedy writing class.
Mhm.
And I saw that Emerson Comedy Workshop was doing an open audition. So I walked in, I pulled the chair up. There were 8 people sitting behind a desk at like a long table. I dragged the chair up and I said, I don't want to audition. I want to write for you. And they're like, we don't have writers. We're all comedians. We all write. And I said, well, I want to do comedy, but I don't want to do comedy. I don't want to be in front of people. I just want to write.
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, you can write for us. So I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm writing comedy. I'm on the air. I was doing more shows. I was filling in for people, feeling more comfortable. And one summer, they wanted to take the comedy troupe on the road, and some of the kids went home for the summer. So they're like, Russ, we need you to fill in on stage. I'm like, no. I don't want to be. They're like, we'll do some of your skits. And so I'm like, all right, I'll go on stage. And I was terrified, but I'm like, all right, I'm up. I had very few lines, but I did it. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine from high school saw me, and he had always wanted to be a stand-up comedian. He's like, I can't believe you did comedy before I did. And so he became a stand-up comedian. And then he said, you need to do stand-up. I'm like, you're talking to a guy that barely wants to be on stage. I don't want to be on stage alone doing comedy.
Oh God, that's terrifying. That seems like the scariest.
So sure enough, I did stand-up comedy. I graduated from Emerson. I have my degree in radio communication with a minor in comedy writing. I ended up doing stand-up, and I still, even at that time, this was the early 90s, had no desire to be an actor at all. I still wanted to pursue radio, stay in radio, and I stayed in radio for a long time. And in 2006, I just got bored with radio. Radio's changed since 1983 when I started to 2006. I mean, I wasn't choosing any music. I wasn't even handling a CD. I was clicking and dragging a file. And that file had a tone at the end, which meant if I didn't even say anything, it was going to go to the commercial and then to the song. So I felt so useless as a DJ. And every time I would try to talk about the music, the owner of the station would call me and say, you're talking too much. Get off the air. He goes, either talk about the weather or talk about the song. Don't talk about both. And I'm like, really? All right. And so I saw an ad on Craigslist to be an extra in the game plan with The Rock and at Gillette Stadium. And I said, hey, that sounds like fun. I wonder what it's like to be in a movie. And that's what started it. In 2006, I became an extra in the game plan. And the very first day of filming with 800 extras, I was chosen to play one of the coaches. And I was on the sidelines.
Like a featured extra?
I don't know if I was featured, but I was at least not one of the 700 in the stand.
Well, it's more featured than them.
More featured than that. And by lunchtime, I'm throwing a football on the 50-yard line of Gillette with another extra. And I'm
that
like,
must have been fun for you.
Yeah, this is more creative than what I'm doing in radio right now. So by the beginning of 2007, I left radio and started to see what I could do with acting. So
let's pause there.
Sure.
Because I want to ask you something. We have a segment coming up later in the show called the Kiss and Tell. In one word, can you tease what your Kiss and Tell will be about? And for those who don't know, the Kiss and Tell is a behind-the-scenes story, something that inspired you, rubbed you the wrong way. But in one word, what will your Kiss and Tell be about, Russ?
And that word is Krull.
Krull, as in like the sci-fi movie?
Yes.
Okay. Krull. I'm so intrigued now. I can't. Can we just skip ahead and go to it? I'm not going to break my own rules.
Okay.
But I'm very curious now. I loved that movie in its day.
Well.
All right, we'll get to that. Okay, so how do you go from the guy that just did the game plan to being the guy in this?
A few of us in the congregation are uncomfortable
with your affections towards Miss Daniels. And you've been missing church meetings lately to be with her.
Why is it anyone's business who I spend my time with?
Because we need a devoted reverend here, Andrew. The parish relies on you, and they need to know they can count on you. And you have to see how this looks to the outside so soon after your wife's passing.
She is just a friend.
Well, it just doesn't feel or appear to be the behavior of a good Christian man.
How does that happen, Russ? So this is a movie that was a Lifetime?
It was a Lifetime movie, yeah. I believe it was 2013.
Okay, so this is 6 years after
years.
that
Yes.
first opportunity. So did you do a bunch of background work in between? You fill in the gaps. And get us
Sure.
to here.
So I think my second movie was 27 Dresses. There were a lot of rom-coms that were filming around here at the time. I did Ghosts of Girlfriends Past up in Ipswich, and I knew nothing about anything. I didn't have a headshot. My first headshot is me literally standing in the basement with my hand on my hip in front of a painted wall that my wife.
We all have that headshot. It's
And
better
so-
than nothing.
It is. And, I received a waiver on Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. And I'm like, what does that mean? I don't even know what any of that means. And they're like, oh, if you get 3 of those, you can join SAG. I'm like, okay. They're like, or you could join AFTRA. And I'm like, what is AFTRA? What is SAG?
yeah.
I don't know what any of this stuff is. So I had a waiver. And then I worked on The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock.
My wife loves that movie. Every
Okay.
time it comes on TV, she leaves it on. And I look for Friends each time.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'm in it. I was a townsfolk. But I
Okay.
walked up to check in, and the PA said to the girl in front of me, he goes, hey, it's your lucky day. You get a waiver today. And then she leaves, and I said, is it my lucky day too? Because I want a waiver. And you said,
So at that point, you wanted to become union. So you were like, I need to get 3 of these things.
I need to get 3, yeah. So I got that, and so I had 2. And then I worked on The Invention of Lying with Ricky Gervais. And it was a scene filming in Lowell, Mass.
Okay.
And I walked up and I said, do you have any waivers today? This girl says, how many waivers do you have? I said, 2. She goes, if I find out you have more than 2 waivers, I will hunt you down and kill you. I'm like, why would I have more than 2? She goes, because people collect them. They don't want to join the union. They just want to collect waivers, get the pay that day, and not join.
Oh,
So-
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, well, no, I don't. And she gave me my 3rd waiver. So I joined SAG, New England. And so I'm like, yay, I'm SAG. Great. That means I get movies and I get to audition for films.
I'm a real actor now, is what you're thinking.
Yeah. So I go to an audition for, I think it was Boston's Finest at Boston Casting. And Julie was working at Boston Casting. Julie from Slate was working at Boston Casting.
Oh, I don't think I knew her then.
And I was literally shaking reading the script. I couldn't memorize it at all. And I was shaking, and she's just looking at me like, Russ, just relax, please. Just relax. And I'm like, I was awful. I was awful.
I've been there. I know that feeling.
And so this must have been around 2009. So now I've been at it 2.5 years or so. And I'm like, so I will never be called in for any union job ever again because I suck at auditioning. And
in your head.
No, I knew. I just couldn't audition. So I took all the classes, every Boston Casting. I took Maura Tai at the time was teaching voiceover. I worked with her because that's the only thing I had. I came out of radio. So the only thing I knew how to do was voice work. And then I got a break. I had a friend of mine named Aaron Cole who put my name forth for WGBH for a voiceover gig for Frontline. And I said, great. And there were a couple of us actors that got called in. We were given the script. We read it 2 or 3 times, and then we left. I'm like, did I just do the gig? Was that an audition? It didn't feel like an audition. It felt like we just recorded for Frontline these voiceover things. And sure enough, we did. We actually were no audition. We were just called in. We read.
It's funny you did it thinking it was the audition.
Yeah. And so it aired. So I finally had a credit. And I remember my mom asked me, she goes, so how'd you get your IMDb page? And I said, well, I don't know how you set one up. She goes, no, you have one. How did you get it? I'm like, how did I get? And there was one Frontline credit.
That's cool.
That was on there. They had created a page for me. So, I had that. So I had my one credit, and then I'm like, I'm taking all these classes around Boston, but I don't feel like I'm learning the craft. Like
Sure.
I love movies. I love watching actors and everything. So I found a guy named Scott Fielding who taught at the Chekhov Institute in Cambridge at the time.
Mm.
So I went over to an open house and I watched these actors training. And I'm like, that's what I want. I want that kind of, like, nobody's fooling around. Nobody's like, oh, I forgot to study my lines. My scene partner doesn't show up or anything. These people were training as actors twice a week for a year. And I got really into it. And I loved learning the Chekhov technique as opposed to Meisner. He taught both, but I love Chekhov.
So at the top, I gave you credit for being a natural talent. Little did I know you built that talent.
I did a little training.
It wasn't natural. I lied, everyone. I'm sorry. He's trained.
Acting. So I trained, and then Scott said, he goes, you got to do theater, man. And I'm like, I don't want to do theater. I can barely be in front of people as it is. I like being I just want to do television or film work. And he goes, no, you got to do theater. You got to try theater. So I tried a play. I auditioned for a play here in Hudson, Mass, where I am. And it was a small play called The Worker. It was a short play festival.
Okay.
And I got cast in The Worker. And
congrats.
Thank you. It was about 25 minutes that I was going to be on stage the whole time.
With a lot of dialogue.
And so I memorized it. I studied it. It was just 2 shows at the Hudson Town Hall, sun streaming through in this post-apocalyptic Twilight Zone-y kind of script. And I did it. And I'm like, wow, I see.
With people watching you.
Yeah.
How did that feel? I don't mean to interrupt. But...
Yeah, no, I felt like I did okay. Like I felt like I was in the role. I felt good about it. I felt like, I had trained for this, and I felt good. And I remember, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying, so this built that confidence of, it kind of broke through that wall of being in front of people, that fear.
So what happened was, at the wrap party, I was talking to some of the other directors, and I said, well, this was, they like, you did such a great job. I said, well, this is the first play I've ever done. And they're like, what? What do you mean? Like, every director fought to get you in their play. We all wanted you. And I'm like, oh come on, guys. Really? And like,
that's
this was the first play I ever did. They're like, yeah, we saw it. And it was funny because I had done a Bogosian monologue from my class, my Scott Fielding.
From talk radio?
From talk radio. Well, he had written a book of plays. I did something called Starving Children, and where I played a priest. Foreshadowing. So I started doing more plays. I started working over at the Concord Players. I did Mr. Roberts. And now all of a sudden the house goes from 60 people at the town hall to 250 to 300.
Oh my!
Because this is a beautiful theater with a big house. Yeah. And we did 8 shows. And I'm like, this is what I think theater, when Scott said do theater, I think this is what he was.
You saw a huge crowd and like,
And so, yeah.
You had young kids at home at the time, though.
I did, which was very difficult to do set work, but I work from home.
Okay.
And so
You've always worked from home?
Since I started doing this in 2006, I started working from home, which gave me the ability to go pick the kids up from school and drop them off. So that helped with that. So
you've been present, very present.
Yeah. Okay. And then, I would do stuff on set, but I wouldn't be able to commit to a long time on set. If they were like, we need you 6 days, I'm like, I can't do 6 days. I could do a day, or I could do 1 day a week for 6 weeks, something like that. But the theater stuff was great. And I did a musical. I did Sound of Music, and I played Franz the butler. I didn't sing.
Okay. Well, I
That
was gonna.
comes late. Oh, I did 9 to
Okay.
5. That's right. I did sing in 9 to 5, but I was ensemble, so I could be like,
You could hide.
that sort of thing. You sing. I've seen you sing. So,
Did I?
yeah, I saw a video you made for your wife where you sang.
Oh, that's so cheesy. I can't believe I
know.
posted that thing. I look back at that. What was I thinking? But
Yeah,
I do love her.
that. I know. I love her too, and I just met her.
What? That's
in
my
Dublin.
wife. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I know. And my son.
Yes,
Sorry.
that was we had tried to meet in Boston for like 3 years to have coffee, and then we're in Dublin together.
I know yeah. We still need to do, though we never go for auditions in person anymore. So we
I
don't
know.
go to New York or Boston, but someday we'll actually meet up.
Someday we
in
will.
Dublin.
Yeah.
Maybe in Paris.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So here we are. So now I'm doing theater, and I'm feeling more confident about auditions. I'm starting to enjoy the audition process, and I get a chance to audition for John Stimson and his movie Sins of the Preacher.
Who is a Worcester, Massachusetts-based film producer, director, writer.
He is indeed. And I was able to audition for 2 roles: the district attorney, which went to my friend Bates Wilder, and the church deacon. And when I walked in, John said, what did you prepare? And I said, well, I prepared the church deacon. And he goes, I don't see you as that. What else you got? And I said, district attorney. And he goes, all right, let's see it. And so I do it. And he goes, huh. He goes, you said you prepared the church deacon. You want to do it? I said, I'll do it. So I took all my training, everything I learned about being able to audition, and I did the audition. I felt great about it. And he looks at me, he goes, maybe I can see you as the church deacon. And,
well, let me just ask you, you said you used your training. Is there a specific thing that you can articulate that you think helped you most through that audition?
I do. I absolutely do. I built the world before I walked into that room. I knew where everybody was seated for that role. I had people on either side of me. I was having a conference. I was about to fire the bad, evil priest. I knew there were people on either side of me. I knew where he was sitting. I built that world
so you could see it
so much. So much so that in the scene, it's set up like I had envisioned it, with people on either side of me that I could reference during the scene. So
that's cool.
So I built it. And then the producer, Andrea Jamian, who has done a ton of stuff with Screen Gems and to tease you out a little bit, she's also involved in the Krull reference that is coming up a little later.
Wait, everyone.
And then and so she called and she goes, we'd like to offer you the role. And I'm like, unbelievable. I had set an arbitrary time. I'm like, I would love to be able to get a speaking role before I turn this age. And I'm like, it's 3 months away. And I have...
What age was it?
I'm not even close. 50. Okay. I wanted my first speaking role by 50, which in hindsight, I'm like, what a weird thing to give yourself. Like, people will go their entire lives and never get a speaking role. And I'm like, well, I should get one in 6 years, or 3 years or 4.
That's amazing, though, because you really had not been in it very long. Even at this point, you've still not been in the business super long.
Right.
And you made this accomplishment going from this guy that's terrified to be on the radio, terrified to be on stage. And here you are, you've memorized this big scene and you do this movie and you're so good in it. It's unbelievable that this is one of your very first things.
Yeah. And it aired a month before I turned 50. And and there it was, smack dab in the middle of Sins of the Preacher on Lifetime. It was right at the 1 hour mark. And it was amazing. And the experience was incredible. Getting to work with John, getting to work with a crew, being on, like learning, like this fear of like, what happens when I mess up my line? Is everybody going to be like, God
damn it, Russ.
And then I'm there, and for one take, everything left me. All the lines were gone. And John's like, that's all right. You need a copy of the script? We'll just reset, go again. And that fear is gone.
And the fact that he was so warm and so understanding makes it so much easier until, like, unless if they're stressed, it's like, oh my God, that's not helping me.
Yeah. And so I'm like, well, there it is. There's my credit. I've got my Frontline. I had done 3 or 4 episodes of Frontline at that point. I have my Lifetime film, and I'm like, door's going to swing open now. I'm going to audition for everything.
Easy street.
No, that's not.
Yeah,
that's
not
what
the case
happens.
ever.
Not at all. So it took
So what happened?
it took another 5 years before I got another speaking role, and that was in a Chinese television show.
Oh yeah, I don't have that clip, but what was that called again?
It was called Wonderful Life.
And you're in the
Wonderful.
limo.
I am. I'm playing a lawyer. Yes. And,
again, you were really good.
Thank you. And that was quite an experience. I think we had Rich Sommer from Mad Men, who played Harry Crane on Mad Men, and he and I were kind of the only ones that spoke English. Everyone else was from China, and we filmed that scene, and it was an amazing experience. I did 2 days with the star / director / writer of the project, and
this was a Chinese series that actually,
it is, it was a Chinese series. So, and they did 2 episodes in the United States where his character's wife comes to America and meets someone, not me. I played a lawyer handling the divorce, and then and they shoot the rest of it in China. But it was quite an experience. So.
Did you find from these 2 experiences? I know you had the moment of forgetting your lines, which happens to everyone. Did you find that I know you have the preparation and the training. Did you find that the fear had completely gone away, or do you feel that unpredictable? When's that going to pop up?
I felt it. I absolutely was like, okay, not imposter syndrome, not something like I shouldn't be here. Like I had earned my right to be there, but of course the fear of forgetting your lines or missing a mark, which I absolutely did all of that in American Fiction. I couldn't have screwed it up anymore, as you know, because I called you the next day in a panic going, oh my God, how do you recover from this? So.
I don't. Do you want to talk about that story? So you do this. Do you want to talk about the American Fiction story?
Sure. Since I'm on the cutting room floor,
their loss.
Yes.
Sorry.
What an amazing experience. I had a great self-tape for that. And, you know what? I'll back up slightly because you and I did this film during COVID with Renee.
Solitary.
COVID was sort of a reset for me because I had done a ton of background work. I had done some principal work, but I was mostly known for doing background work. And when COVID hit, I said, you know what? I cannot pursue this career if I'm going to keep accepting background work. And
no shame in doing background work. It just
not at all.
It's a long day, and you never know when you're going to be released.
I've met a ton of people. I learned a bunch. The last background that I worked on was Black Panther 2. And, and the fact that I could work on a Marvel movie was like, okay, I'll do that.
That's awesome.
Because they had to film at MIT for their character. They couldn't fake MIT in Georgia. They had to come to MIT. So, but after that, I'm like, I have to just audition. And if I don't get it, maybe I'll do like Free Guy. I was core background, but I had 6 really good auditions for Free Guy. So I felt like, okay, I'm going to keep plugging away. But after COVID, I'm like, I have to audition. I can't just accept background. And if I don't get to work on the project, I don't work on the project, but I have to audition. And so I auditioned for American Fiction and self-tape. And it was Man at Book Fair was the name of the character. I come in with 2 big bags of books. Jeffrey Wright is saying, would you like a copy of my book? And I'm like, oh, I don't have a lot of room. Is it speculative fiction or my wife enjoys a cozy mystery? That was the line.
Yeah.
Well, speculative fiction, when you're standing in front of Jeffrey Wright and you're nervous, is not an easy thing to say.
No, even if you're not. Speculative fiction.
Yes.
That's hard.
And so I messed it up a lot. And
I hate that.
And I also didn't feel like I understood why I was saying or. So I kept dropping that. Is it speculative fiction? My wife enjoys a cozy mystery. So director Cord Jefferson comes out, says, Russ.
He wrote the script too, right?
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Oscar winning, by the way.
Yeah.
And so he said, is there any reason why you keep dropping the word or? I said, no. He goes, then put it back in.
Oh,
Like,
oh,
okay.
you should have spoken up though and been like, it doesn't make sense to me that it's there.
So it's, is it speculative fiction? Or, my wife does enjoy a cozy mystery. I'll take either of those books. Well, I said speculative instead of speculative. And I looked at Jeffrey Wright and I said, I'll get it next time. And he's like, okay. Like,
oh, just icy, just like,
yeah.
oh,
like it's the end of a long day and I don't really want to deal with
I don't have
this.
time for this. Oh, that's not, I don't know.
So, and other people have had amazing experiences on set with him, and it was just a long day and I was not doing it. And then I missed a mark, and then I was on the wrong side of the camera and I was nervous. And the more I screwed up, the more nervous
you got. Yeah.
So we finally get the scene and they're moving on. And Cord comes out and I'm like, I'm sorry, man. And he goes, why? He goes, we got what we needed. That's good. If we didn't, we'd still be here shooting it. And he goes, and honestly, it was fine. It was our honor to have you on set. I'm like,
that's so nice. That's how it should be.
So, and then we talked about The Good Place, which is one of my favorite shows. And he's like, oh man, thank you. I appreciate it. And so I'm like,
oh, that's nice that you had that moment.
I did. And I could not have messed up a scene any worse than I did. And I survived. So I'm like, all right. You're driving home and you're like banging your head on the steering wheel.
I've so been there after auditions, after roles I've done. I'm like, oh, yeah. I had a recent-ish one where I had to say the word colloquial or colloquially.
Yes, I know exactly. I auditioned for that, and that was hard. That was a tough one.
I did. There's a couple of times I said colloquially. I did not say it right a couple of times, and
it's not in a place where you can hide it in that script. Because it's there. It's coming up, and you know it. And
they called me back in for ADR recently. Oh, exactly. You do know it.
I do. Yeah.
They called me back in for ADR, so I'm like, I know it's to fix that word. I'm ready. I'm practicing the word in the way, and I get there. They're like, oh no, we just want to add this line. I'm like,
oh, okay.
Colloquially came out.
Yeah, that was a tough one. And then Cord was nice enough to send a note to Boston Casting and say, we cut Russ's scene, but it was not his performance. It just
that's
did not
so nice.
flow. And he put me in the credits under a special thanks.
That's really cool.
Which I really appreciated him doing that as well. So,
and everyone has been cut. And didn't you also have, from my understanding, so we've all been cut from stuff, but I believe you booked a role and the role disappeared before you even shot it.
Yeah, that was Boston Strangler. That was
Boston Strangler. Okay.
Yeah, it was a really nice scene with Keira Knightley. I was going to be playing the Sunbeam Toaster sales rep. Set in 1962. It was
I remember that
scene.
audition.
Yeah. And I remember Carolyn from CP called me. She goes, that was one of the best auditions you've ever done. It was exactly what they wanted, and they want you. And that was another COVID, shut down the set twice. And then they were running out of money. And they're like, we have to cut some scenes. I had already gone through my fitting. I already had the lines down. I knew everything. I even studied about the toaster itself. So so I could talk to people about the toaster. And they cut the scene.
I'm sorry. That's the thing. Like, you never know if the role is going to hit the screen. You never know once you book it, if it's actually going to film. Like, that must have stung. So I apologize that you had to suffer through that. It was a win.
I booked it. Yeah, I booked it. I booked it off a self-tape. I felt good. I would have loved to have seen, either of these roles just to, see what the American fiction scene looked like. I never even got to see the scene.
And also just to have the footage. It's always nice to have that to build to the next thing these are the
But it's funny when I joined the union, I told you at the beginning here that I just didn't know how to act. And I couldn't do non-union stuff anymore. What I did was a ton of student films. And that's what I enjoy. I still do as many student films as I can do I'm currently cast in 4 of them that are shooting in the next 2 weeks. So
a lot of it looks so good. You get to do things that maybe we don't get to do in these
Yeah.
more mainstream projects. And I imagine there's a lot of freedom to kind of just be yourself or do what you want with these characters.
It's I look at it as a collaborative. These are students that are studying the craft. This is me still studying the craft. I get to look at camera setup. I get to look at lighting. I get to look at all of this stuff that helps me know where I am in the space. And the kids are looking at me like, I can't believe we have an actor on set. I'm like, no.
A professional actor.
We're all, we're all in this together, and we'll find that moment. But being able to do a scene 2-3 different ways and just make a different choice and be able to film that has been so much fun. And I've met all these great filmmakers as well.
And you never know who's going to be the next big deal.
I always look at Everything Everywhere All at Once, which was 2 guys from Emerson, or La La Land, which was a guy from, Harvard. Those were their.
I love both those movies.
I know they started out as student projects, and so every time I work with a student filmmaker, I'm like, I'm giving you everything because I want, I'm not going to cakewalk through this, and this is your stepping stone too. You're taking this film to move on to your stuff. I want you to remember me when you're making your big film. So.
And you also get that great footage to put on your reel to show something else that people don't know that you can do. And
it's fun. You can, there's a lot of stress on a big budget film set. On a student film set, it's fun. You're laughing, you're talking.
Everyone's there for the right reason. Some of these bigger ones, it's more of like, oh, we're going to make our money, make this product for the factory.
Absolutely. I mean, I just did a role a couple Sundays ago where I played a talk show host. I know, hard to believe, right? Yeah.
No,
it was such a great, and it was crew that I had worked with twice before. And you walk on a set, and they're like, Russ, and I'm like, hey, it's these guys, and then you're like, I know all of you, and I've worked with you, and I like you. Yeah, so
when it's comfortable and there's like an immediate family, that you can't ask for more.
Yeah, it's great stuff. So
I want before. Well, I'm sorry to cut you off. What were you going to say?
Go ahead. No.
Well, before I make you go on too long, I want to ask you about this.
Yes.
What is this?
So that is the Bill Belinda trading card from the film Ephus, which Ephus, there it is.
Which we kind of teased at the beginning.
Yeah, this is you talk about a role of a lifetime, an experience of a lifetime. This is it.
So this film has gotten a lot of attention. It went to Cannes, from my understanding. It just came out as a winner for the NYFCC first award. So it went to Ephus. I mean, that's amazing. You've gotten some amazing press from the Gotham Awards review of Ephus, and it says like you're one of the top players here. So what has this experience been, and how did this come to be?
Okay, well, it's a nice transition because the group Omnis Films came out of Emerson as well. We talk about working with student filmmakers. I did not know Carson Lund at Emerson, but I was doing student films at the time he was at Emerson. He went out to LA. He produced a short film he directed and wrote Ham on Rye. And then during COVID, he came back and wrote Ephus in 2021 is when he wrote it.
Okay.
And he cast most of the film in 2021. I came on board late in the process. In May of 2022 is when I actually auditioned. I found it on Backstage.
Is this the case where someone had dropped out of the film?
So they were going to offer the role to another actor, a name actor. And that actor, and I had auditioned for the role of Bill Belinda. I did the 7th inning stretch scene was my audition. And I got to audition for Carson and Mike Basta, who was the co-writer. And I had a really nice audition. And I had worked for the Red Sox Network when I graduated from Emerson. So I had a baseball background. I had played Little League. I played softball. We talked baseball a lot. but you didn't need to be a baseball player to be in the film. They were really looking for
Good
characters, and so the actor that they had offered it to declined, and then they came to me and offered it to me and said, "Would you like to play Bill Belinda?" And I said, "Sure." It sounds great. Got to set in September of 2022. I knew a couple of the people on the cast.
David Pridemore,
Steve Radoshia, and Paul Kandarian. And
he's
Chris
coming
Goodwin
on here next week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And Chris Goodwin, who had played my son in an Emerson film as well,
cool.
was the catcher. So that's pretty much everyone I knew on set. And so it was all new people that I'm meeting. And we spent a couple of weeks just getting together on the weekends and playing baseball, just taking cuts and fielding and getting the feel of being at this field in Douglas, Mass.
And building this real bond.
Yeah. And starting to learn, because a lot of the actors were from New York. Some were from New Hampshire. Some had never been in a film before. Some, like Keith had been in Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler.
Oh, yeah.
And had a great role in that. And that's how he got cast. Those blue eyes of his.
He was kind of a jerk in Uncut Gems.
He was an assassin. So I would say, yeah, he's kind of a jerk. He kept trying to kill Adam Sandler.
And he succeeds. Spoiler alert.
He's got that great voice, that New York accent. And every time I see him, he's like, "Hey, there he is. He's handsome. Come over here, man."
He's
scary in that movie.
Guy. He's so nice. I mean, everyone on set was incredible. And that's what I found. Like we shot almost 30 days. And
what did you think this film was? Like, did you have dreams of grandeur? Did you think it was going to go somewhere? Just like, we're doing a indie movie. We'll see.
Usually I honestly thought as we were filming, I really felt like it was going to be like a major league, like a goofy, almost like Caddyshack, like a little bit serious, but there were moments of seriousness. But I felt like it was going to be a goofy movie, like not quite. I really had no concept at all of what this film was going to be.
Did you think? Did you have an idea of where it might be going? Did they have an idea what their plan was for it?
So I'm sure they did. But
true.
I had no clue. And so we finished filming in October of 22, and they came back for some reshoots with some of the players. They didn't need me for that. And that was it. Another one of those movies that just, I did it. I don't know what'll ever happen to it. It might be fun to see, but I don't know what's going to happen. And then came the call that, or the email that said the film is ready and we want to air it for cast and crew. And so in early 24, we went to see it. And I remember I was sitting next to Paul Kandarian. And the film ends. My wife's on one side, Paul's on the other. The film ends, and we just look at each other. We're like, wow. What did we just watch? This film is incredible. Like, we were blown away. We're like, we did not. It was funny. It was emotional. It was moving. It was tender. It was like incredible. It's
interesting being on set. You didn't have a sense of what it was going to become, and that it was something so
and I mean, some of the shots. I've seen the film a lot.
Sure.
Greg Tango, the cinematographer, Carson. They set up shots that are such an homage to John Ford and the Searchers, and these beautiful long takes in which the camera is just following the action. Now you can imagine how hard it is to shoot a baseball movie where the ball has to go where it has to go and still be able to capture this. And there's a beautiful scene where I make a play from second base to first. The camera's in the dugout. It shoots. It's a tracking shot of all the players coming into the dugout. and it shows them getting ready for the next inning. There's no edit. See me going up, and they're like, "All right, Bill, let's get us started," and everything, and it's all once. It doesn't cut.
Wow.
It's this beautiful shot, and you stay with the action as if you're sitting in the dugout watching this. And there are so many moments in the film that are just beautifully shot, like that. That when we finish watching the film, we're like, "This is incredible." And even then, even after watching it and talking to people, we're like, where does it go from here?
It'd be cool if people see it.
Yeah.
Kind of that vibe, like that. Yeah.
Maybe we can get it into, like one of the local film festivals in Cambridge or Boston or something like that. So, so I'm talking to Carson, and I said, "So where are you submitting this?" And he's like, "Well, we're 4 rounds through Cannes."
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm like, he goes, "Don't say anything." I'm like, "Ah." And so as soon as we get in the car to drive home, I'm like, "So listen to this." I'm telling my wife, I'm like, listen to this. And sure enough, it gets into the director's fortnight at Cannes, and it premiered last May.
And so you were there.
And I was there. We flew over. We stayed in Nice, and it was so great to see the guys that I'd been in the film with. It was this family. The minute we saw each other, it was like all over again. And so we premiered it in Cannes. Had an amazing, like the very next day, the reviews in Hollywood Reporter and Variety and all these things, like EFIS is a winner, one of the highlights of Cannes. EFIS is a gem, best sports movie in years. And we're like, wow. And so we go from there to the New York Film Festival last October. We played a promotional baseball game on the Lower East Side where we invited critics and fans to come out. We had a great time. Then we opened at the Alice Tully Hall at Lincoln Center, the biggest theater they have at Lincoln Center. And we are part of the New York Film Festival. And then we're like, okay, so where does it go? We were in Jakarta, we were in Sydney, we were in Vancouver, we were in France, we were in
Where
Poland.
Doesn't it go is the question.
I know. And all of a sudden we're like, this film really could be something big. And so then it opened. Wow. It opened in the US in earlier this year. We were in over 200 theaters, but it rolled out slowly across the US. We got signed to Music Box Films in Chicago. Film Constellation is our marketing arm. And then we were like, yeah, we're going to do we're just going to roll it out, and we're going to do a barnstorming tour. We're going to go to a bunch of theaters and just have the cast show up in their uniforms and meet fans, sign posters, pose for photos. We're like, I'm signing posters. I'm signing my baseball card for people. Yeah, right there. And then we release the Blu-ray and we record a commentary track for it.
That's so fun. What a dream.
I know. So we're at Emerson and we're recording a commentary track for the film, and we're reliving it again. And now every time I get together with these guys, it's like family. It feels
Haven't
like
you had
together.
Screenings on, you've had like screenings on baseball fields and stuff, right? Or like,
we did. We
have a game and
we
then
showed it at the actual field where we filmed it in Douglas at Soldiers Field. We played a promotional game. We met fans. Then we rolled out the screen and people could watch. Over 200 people showed up to watch the film on the field where we filmed. So it's incredible. And seeing the reaction from people, I've done meet and greets in Nashville and New Hampshire and Vermont and New York. And, we wherever I can see the film. I was out in San Francisco and I was in front of a group of almost 1,000 people. And the guy that I was talking to goes, "Did you know Russ is in a movie? It's a baseball movie." And someone's like, "I saw it." Someone in the back said, "I saw EFIS." And you're like,
That's
how,
so cool.
Where, but
well, so no one else can say, "I saw the movie, but I don't remember you in it." Let's show them you in it.
Bye, Dad. We'll save you a baked potato.
I'll grab dessert. That might have been the last time the kid saw the old man come to the plate.
They're so young, they won't even remember this.
They're 10 and 12.
then they'll probably love that you struck out. It's funny. Not to me.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm gonna watch it. I have no excuse. I'm ashamed. Is there hopes? Oh, but no, sorry. Say what you were gonna say.
No, I never get tired of watching it. It's really funny. I've seen it so many times, and I will get sucked into it again. There are moments, and that surround sound, the audio mix. Joe Fiorello, who's also from Emerson, and Carson sound design. When it's in a theater, there's stuff happening in the back of the theater that the front of the theater can't hear, because it's as if you're at a baseball game and there's people laughing in the back because they're hearing stuff that other people aren't hearing, and there's sound everywhere, and it's really great.
Is there the possibility, or actually, do you think any other opportunity after this could ever top this experience? Because this experience is still ongoing for you.
It continues, today. The New York Film Critics Circle just announced today. I mean, there's no ceiling. That's the thing. We don't feel like the film has gone as far as it can go.
Are Oscars a potential, or is that trickier because there's such a campaign? It costs a fortune.
I'm not going to say that there's a ceiling. The film has reached people that don't like sports.
Okay, talk to those people. I'm one of them. Convince us to watch it.
This is about loss. This is about the ending of something. So the film takes place in the early 90s. The field is going to be destroyed after this game to make way for a school. So it's not like the bad guys are like some evil empire coming in to tear down
and make a parking lot.
Yeah, or to build apartment. They're building a school. So it's hard for us to be like, what do you need a school for? It's really about guys that get together. And as Carson likes to say, it's about a third space. We have home, we have work. There used to be a third space we always went to, whether it was a bar, whether it was bowling, whether it was some tennis. You did something that wasn't home and it wasn't work. And it was that third space. And there's a loss of that third space because for most of us, we do home and work, or we work from home. There is no place where we gather for a community. And this field is where these guys, they weren't exactly friends. They just played baseball every week or every couple of weeks they'd play baseball. But some of these guys don't even know what's going on. Why is this guy here? Why is his family always at this game? Yeah. Well, you've been playing this game for years and you never took the time to find out anything about the people you're playing with. And that's kind of the way it is sometimes. You get together with some guys, you play softball or baseball, and then you go home and you're like, I don't know anything about these guys. That's what this film is. So well, I kind of feel
that way about talking with you today. There's so much about you I did not know. Because we talk, we get along quite well, but it's interesting all the things I didn't know. But I'm sorry, go on.
Yeah, and so so this film really is about the ending of something. And so for people that don't like baseball but know what it's like to lose something, that loss of community is really what some of this film is about. And then you'll read some of the critics that are like, I don't even know what the final score was, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether these guys can play baseball or not. And they clearly can't because they're hobbling around and they can't pitch or they can't do this. And it's not really about baseball, even though it's a baseball movie. But it's really about the loss and the ending of something. And the fact that it takes place over one day and all in one location. It's just, it starts in the morning and ends at night. And that's it. And it's just a slice of life is really what it is.
So from speaking to my friend Russ, I understand that it actually shot for 30 days. So it's a lie that it took place in one day.
It does take place on screen in one day.
Yes.
So
could any other experience top this though? Or are you okay if nothing does? And this is the thing.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Not to say there won't be other huge opportunities, but
You know,
You never know with this business.
it's one of those things too, that it's not a scene that I walk in and walk out of as part of a bigger film. Like, I'm in this film from the start to the finish of this film. And I have some nice scenes throughout. I have a bunch on the deleted scenes. If you get the Blu-ray,
That's great.
there's a lot of deleted scenes with me as well. But I'm in it.
Okay.
I'm in it the whole film. So I don't know, unless I'm in another film in which I'm that big a part of the film, instead of just having, my scene is coming up. Oh, you blinked, you missed it.
I've been, yes.
Yeah.
No small roles though.
No small roles. But this experience is that, you hear my voice. You may not see me, but you'll hear my voice talking to someone, or you'll see me, or I'll walk through the frame or something. There's a lot of that, whereas I feel like I'm a part of this film, and I don't know if I'm going to get another role that's going to be as great as this one was. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to Mike and Carson and everyone that is involved in this film. I will be eternally grateful to.
I'm sure they feel the same way, because you helped fill out their world and make it just as real as I imagine it is if I had seen it.
Yes. Well, you have to see it now.
I will see it. I will see it. And I'll edit in my opinion of it into this conversation.
Perfect.
So I want to ask you now, do you have any advice for up and coming actors? Anything you wish you had known that you didn't, or something?
I guess because I started this later in life than most people, I kind of had already gone through a lot of my errors starting out in radio. And if I had gone back to tell my younger self to take advantage of opportunity more, not to be afraid of doing something different. When I talk about this love of student films, there are people I know that don't do student films. They're like, I don't want to do that. I just want to do like the Martin Scorsese stuff.
I want to make money.
Yeah. Well, if this were my only job, I might not feel the same way. But I love being around filmmakers. I love talking about films, and I love being around them. So if you're just starting out, I would watch movies. Watch what movies do what for you. Do dramas make you cry? Do comedies make you laugh? What do you like? What are you drawn to? I have seen Casablanca 100 times, and I will still find myself tearing up at moments in that film that are heartbreaking. And why would a movie that's so old, that I've seen so many times, still have that impact on me? I want to find films that move me. And so if I can be part of it, great. But if I can't, I'll watch it. So if you're starting out, or you're trying to find your way, watch films and find out what it is about it that draws you in, and do that. So in student films, if it's a drama, I find the comedy in it. If it's a comedy, I find the drama in it. I don't want to play one note. I want to take those risks. I'm at that age where I'm like, all right, I'll do, I'll be the nude CEO in Don't Look Up. Scene was.
Wait, did you do that? You did do it?
I was being considered. It was a scene that was not cut, that was not shot, but I was going to come out of a pod on the spaceship and walk full frontal through the spaceship, looking at who survived and who didn't. And I said, sure, submit me for it. I will do it. So my younger self would have been under a blanket at the thought of that. The guy who failed public speaking. How is that guy going to be walking El Natural through a spaceship?
That would be so scary. Yeah, my wife's never even seen me without a t-shirt. But
that's why you're always wearing that no small roles.
Exactly. I shower in it.
Our picture in Dublin, you're wearing.
I had this
shirt
on, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like this shirt. I don't know. And it's appropriate for the show that we're doing.
It is.
Do you have any hocus pocus, anything that you have to do when you get on a set, either for good luck or just to get in the zone?
I always get to set a million hours too early. I'm like, if I can get there, 6 hours early to be in the space, I am. I never want to rush onto a set and be like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm late. I love being in this space. I love just meeting everyone on set, saying hi, walking around, watching what's happening, go to Video Village, say hi to everyone.
Does that go to the fear you used to feel? You're like, I just got to break the ice, make this a comfortable space for me so I can work.
Yeah, I think so. I also I want to know that everyone's got my back. I don't want to be the guy that walks on and it's like, who's this guy? I want to say hi to sound. I want to say hi to the grips and just be like, hey, I'm Russ. I'm playing this role today. Look forward to working with you. And just be in that space as much as I can. I love trying to get the wardrobe into my head. As soon as I read a script, I'm like, what would I be wearing for this role? Like, how do I envision the character looking in this role? What would he wear? And
is that in terms of the audition or just like trying to find the character?
Well, as soon as I get a script, I'm like, I want to see an image pop into my head of what would this character look like? How would he be there? It doesn't necessarily mean I need a prop for a self-tape, but I should know if I had a prop, what would it feel like? What would it weigh? What would I have in my hand that would help me? So I feel
from hearing what we've discussed so far, I get the impression that self-taping is more appealing to you than in the room auditioning. Is it?
Yeah.
So you it's kind of great, right? And you've had more success since self-taping became a thing?
I have. Absolutely. Yeah.
Me too.
Auditioning
is a weird thing. It's not a natural thing.
No, and I feel like I have a studio that I'm sitting in for voice work, and I turned our guest room into a self-tape room as well. My family, my wife, my son, they're my readers. They look at my takes and they're like, no, we don't like this one. We like this one. Why don't you did something weird here? And that feedback is invaluable that I'm able to get. For longer scripts, it's taped all over the room. I have it. If my eye line's going here, I got a script there.
You're like Brando.
Here. Yes, absolutely. If I could tape it to the front of someone's chest and read it.
Or their face. Yeah.
Yep, I would do
with
that.
little eye holes.
Yeah.
This is my self-taping spot right here.
That's awesome.
But I'll put a backdrop. It's not Jurassic Park, but
it's very cool.
Okay, so this brings me to the moment of the show where we discuss the kiss and tell. And you said Krull, which was a movie with Liam Neeson 8,000 years ago. Please tell us. That's Liam Neeson, right?
Liam Neeson. Yeah. Liam Neeson, Robbie Coltrane. Yes.
And the lead guy who we don't know who that is.
Right. So Krull is, I believe, 1983. It is a science fiction / fantasy film that is pretty bad.
It's like swords and sandals with lasers.
Yes. So it was trying to capture both the success of Star Wars and maybe the romance of Robin Hood, and it failed miserably on every account. And Liam Neeson, it was his screen debut as one of the cutthroat gang that meets his demise at some point in the film. So I was cast as a Liam Neeson's off-screen reader for the film The Honest Thief, which, again, going back to Sins of the Preacher, was being produced by Andrea Jamian, who did Sins of the Preacher. And she was producing The Honest Thief, which we filmed in Worcester. And I was going to play an FBI agent who was calling Liam Neeson, or picking up the phone. Liam Neeson was calling. He was the in and out bandit, and he was turning himself in to the FBI. I was set up in another room with a phone. He was going to call me. We did a rehearsal. Hi, it's the FBI. How can I direct your call?
Yeah, see, in and out bandit. I'm calling to turn myself in.
That's really
okay. Good. Hold on. It's another in and out bandit. That sort of thing. So phone rings and I pick up the phone. I'm like, oh, FBI. Can I swear on this? Can I say it?
Yeah, please. A lot.
He goes, fuck you. And he hangs up. I'm like,
what?
So I hear him laughing in the other room. So I'm like, okay, fine. Ha ha. All right. Call him the new guy and all that. So we do the scene. Phone ring, it's like, all right, Russ, we're ready. And action. Phone doesn't ring. Cut. What happened? I don't know. Phone didn't ring. All right, we'll try again. Action. Phone doesn't ring. Cut. Russ, what is going on? I'm like, the phone isn't ringing. Like he's supposed to be calling. Well, someone was giving him instructions in his ear. He was supposed to be in a hotel room. His PA thought, well, you have to dial 9 to get out of a hotel room. So he was telling him dial 9 and then the number. I'm like, we're in an office building in Worcester. We're not in a hotel. This is a direct line. Oh, he keeps dialing 9. That's what's happening. So we do a take. He calls them In and Out Bandits and blah, blah, blah. We do the scene. Yeah. Great. For about an hour, we shoot this scene. And there are takes where we nail it. There are takes where we're not quite there. They want to do half the script. They want to do this. They want to come back and all of that. So we finish. They're like, Russ, thank you so much. We might keep you around to do a scene later on today. But, right now you can go back to holding. It's literally I'm the only one in holding. So it's like, here, you're in this room. And I said, hey, is Liam around? Because I've been talking to him on the phone for an hour. Can I pop in and say hi? Oh, yeah. Come on over. Liam, this is Russ. He's been on the other end of that call. Oh, hey, man. Yeah. Come in. Door closes and the PA leaves. And it's just Liam and I sitting in a small room. He's like, have a seat. He goes, oh, this means so much to me. It's so tough for me to have a conversation without someone on the other end of the line. It really helps me with my acting and all of that. And he goes, you did a great job. I appreciate that. And
how nice. And
I said, thank you. I said, I have to tell you, I don't know if you get this a lot, but I am a huge fan. And he starts to lean back like, oh, yeah, you're a huge fan. And I said, of Krull. And he goes, Krull. Oh, crying out loud. That was my first role. He goes, and he starts telling me.
And he's the Cyclops. No one would recognize him.
No, he's not the Cyclops.
Is he the Cyclops?
No, you're thinking of the Cyclops. He's running next to the Cyclops.
Oh, I thought he was. Okay,
yeah, no, but you're good. You got the Cyclops. The Cyclops is in there.
I'm thinking Excalibur too.
That's right.
All right, go on.
So he starts telling me stories about the set of Krull and some of the actors. And he goes, the director of Krull directed Bullet was Steve McQueen.
Oh, wow.
He's dead now.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Oh. And so he just starts talking about some of the cast and some of his experiences on the set of Krull. And I am just soaking this in. And he is just, and I don't know how often he gets to talk about Krull, but he lit up when he was talking about it. And then, we talked a little bit about how Andrea had cast me in Sins of the Preacher and how I had played a priest. And he looks at me, he's like, yeah, I can see as a priest. Yeah.
You're like, thanks.
And so for, a good 15, 20 minutes, we just sat in this room talking to one another about films.
That is so nice.
And he was amazing. He was such a nice guy. And so I stuck around. They never used me again, but as I was leaving, he saw me and he came over and he put his arm around me and he thanked me again. And he goes, you did a great job, man. Fantastic.
Did you get a picture?
No, I didn't get a picture. I didn't get an autograph.
That's cool.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? I'm really in the moment here. I felt weird about, hey, can I get a selfie with you? I'm like,
I get it. I get that.
I'm like, I wanted the experience to be the takeaway. And,
I would have had to have done it because my son loves Qui-Gon in the Star Wars movies.
Well, that's it. I got home and my family was like, you talked to him about what?
Krull?
Like not Schindler's List, not Star Wars, not...
Which is usually what he gets. I'm sure he was so excited to speak to a real human who doesn't, not that you don't care about those, but...
Right. Yeah. And so that's my kiss and tell is my my night with Liam Neeson.
And hence the 2 children since. Congratulations.
Right. And the slight Irish accent.
Yeah, no, that's really good. That's because you were in Dublin. I know that's where you got that. Russ, thank you so much for your time. What do you have coming up? I know Solitary, which we've discussed, that our friend Renee directed. What do you want to...
Yeah, I'm excited. that I have a film that I was cast in called Elmwood Park that some of the guys from EFIS are going to be in. There's about 6 of us. We're going to be filming that down outside the Philadelphia area just after the first of the year.
Elmwood Park, is that what you said?
Yep. And I am going to be playing a police officer, police chief,
cool,
who likes to doodle.
I've seen you play a policeman before and a little aggressive.
Yes, I'm not aggressive in this. It's a really nice script by one of the guys from EFIS. And
is it a feature or a short?
It's a feature film. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congrats on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm sure I will see you on set soon. I hope.
I hope so. I'm always auditioning. I'm always up for auditioning, and we're hoping that as EFIS continues to earn its accolades, that it starts putting me in the spotlight a little bit. I'm hoping. It is available on Amazon and Apple pay-per-view. Or you can go order the Blu-ray and listen to the commentary and see my deleted scenes.
Or watch the clips at the Oscars.
That's our hope. Wouldn't that be something?
That'd be amazing.
That would be amazing. So, but we're never, like I said, no ceiling. Every time we think, is it done? Yeah. I think it's one of the best films people have yet to see. Like, it's like, oh, has anybody actually seen EFIS? It's like,
that's why I'm saving it. I don't want to see the best thing yet.
That's right. I
need to fill out my top 10 list this year, so I need more movies. So I will.
So we did get on planes, but just like with a lot of it, we're on like Emirates. We're not on JetBlue. We're on Qantas. We're not on American. I love the fact that my nephew was able to see Emirates, or he flew on Emirates and he was able to watch it. But most of us aren't flying to Dubai.
I haven't. But is it on Aer Lingus? If you go back to Dublin,
there's a third airline. I'm not sure which one it is. I know we're on 3 airlines. But is
see it on a real screen, people, not an airplane screen.
I know. Seeing it on a big screen has been incredible, and hearing the reaction from the crowd as they're watching it as well. I did have somebody come up. We had a screening, or when it came out, I had somebody come up to me. I was doing a Q&A at the end, and he couldn't talk to me. His tears rolling down his face. He could not speak. And he's like, he found me and sent me an email later and said, I was the guy that couldn't talk, but I'm somebody who has small kids and I play baseball, and something about your character, it just hit me. And I'm like, that's an amazing thing that my role can do that to a person. I mean, that's the dream of an actor.
Yeah, it is.
You're able to convey that emotion to such a degree that somebody is moved by it. I mean, how am I going to top that?
You may not, and that's okay. This is
I'm okay. I feel like somebody there was like IndieWire or something just released a list of some of the best sports films ever, and EFIS was on the list with Raging Bull, with Rocky, with League of Their Own. Like, how are we on this list? Nobody's seen it.
That's amazing.
Well, some people have seen it, but I would love to have millions see this film.
Over time, it's going to make its way around.
I think that's it. I think it's the kind of film like if you think of The Sandlot, like some people say this is The Sandlot grown up. It's one of those films that I feel like, maybe every time they have a baseball thing, like when we opened in Chicago, we opened as part of a baseball series with Moneyball, League of Their Own, I think Field of Dreams, and EFIS was premiering as part of those film collectives. So I really think that if we can
word of mouth
get that and be one of those films that people are always like, oh, you're showing sports movies, you have to show EFIS, that kind of thing. So
that would be amazing.
So I feel like it's got that kind of staying power, that it might be one of those films that's shown. It's got a lot of swears in it. I will say that.
I can't watch it then. Forget it. My dogs hate swears. If I'm watching that at home, they do.
So it's one of those films that we would love to show at like Cooperstown, But Cooperstown's been like, there's a lot of language in this, and we have kids that are coming.
Can't you like dub over the bad words and be like, oh darn, shucks?
There's 70 something F-bombs in it. And
You would proudly go in though and cover those for another day's pay.
Bill Belinda doesn't swear. So
okay.
No ADR for me. Bill Belinda's a family man. He does not swear in this. So.
Attaboy. Russ, I just want to say that I applaud every success that you have, and I'm always rooting for you. And you're such a good person, and I'm happy to know you. And I'm very grateful that you came on here to.
Thank you so much. I admire you so much as an actor and as a friend. And
Thank
just, I love being able to spend time with you.
Right back at you. Thank you, Russ. Everyone, check out EFIS. If you watch it, I'll watch it. We have a deal. Right. Like, share, tell your friends. Where can people find you? IMDb, the socials. What's the best way to kind of
on Instagram, I'm Gannon Russ. You can look at russgannon.com as my website that has all my contact information. Russell J. Gannon is my official SAG name. So if you look that up on IMDb, you will find me. You can follow my YouTube channel, which has clips and some of my animated voice work as well. And you just Google Russ Gannon, you'll find me.
Or just watch EFIS and
or just watch
him a lot. Or go to one of those screenings. Russ, again, thank you. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay, these are the parts I play.